Hello everyone, my name is Madison Potter. I'm an honors student. And this is my honors thesis on an analysis of the Eames design philosophy for NICU applications. So just a brief overview, we'll go over a small introduction, who the Eames were, the Eames design philosophy, the design problem, NICU application, and future applications. So I will be sharing how Charles and Ray Eames design philosophy can apply to the medical field, but specifically the neonatal intensive care unit. So this thesis resonates with me because I am a NICU baby. My siblings and I were born premature. And the care we received in the NICU is one of the reasons why I am alive today. This research is still underway. I'm currently in the process of designing a reclining armchair that we decided to do based on the feedback that we received from NICU nurses and from the articles that we have researched. So at the conclusion of this research, I will hopefully have an opportunity to 3D print this design that is designed to reduce the stress of both the mothers and the nurses experience in the NICU. So I would also just like to mention that we are fully aware that this process is extremely stressful for a whole family, not just the mother, but we needed to narrow it down for the scope of this project. So who were the Eames? The Eames were a husband and wife duo who epitomized the mid-century era of design. They explored the world through many different lenses, photography, videography. They were sculptors, painters. They did everything. And they drew a lot of inspiration from the world around them. They worked primarily through the 1940s through the 1980s, and they always implemented human-centered design. It's actually the main part of their design philosophy. Iconic furniture with it, which I'm sure you recognize, this little chair over here, was designed by them. This one right here is the DSW, which is the dining height side chair with wooden legs. Very creative. Yeah, and I find them specifically inspirational because they were kind of trailblazers in the idea that well-designed pieces could be affordable and accessible to many people. So their design philosophy. They drew inspiration from nature, including organic shapes and colors in their designs. Their focus on human-centered design actually first started before they even began producing furniture. Their first mass-produced piece wasn't a piece of furniture at all. It was molded plywood splints that were used in the Navy during World War II. So I think it's just important to keep in mind that while the Eames design philosophy can be applied in many applications, including medical, they started their process as designers with a medical application. I think that's really cool to come full circle. And then it's also kind of their introduction of bringing anthropometrics, which is designed for the proportions and measurements of the human body, into their designs. And you'll see this later in lounge pieces that they do and chairs that they design. Inspiration from the world. They drew a lot of inspiration from the world, whether that be textures or silhouettes or colors. And they explored this through film and photography. A deep analysis of what is needed was always done by Charles and Ray Eames, whether that was through mock-ups, miniature models, infographics, mind maps. And this is kind of the same deep analysis that I hope to do with my study. So the design problem. Currently, some NICU facilities have a very clinical medical feel that can be unsettling. This space is already a high stress environment, both for the nurses and the mothers within the space. This was confirmed in our pilot study that we conducted. And concerns have also been expressed around color application, flexibility and mobility of furniture, and the management of cords. It's also important to note that in the survey that we conducted, the pilot survey that we conducted, We asked nurses if a less clinical atmosphere would be beneficial to create a more calming environment, and they all said a change might be or would be beneficial. So regarding the design of the chair, we will be implementing a more residential feel. And then just regarding the piece of furniture that we found was most needed in and outside the NICU, the overwhelming response was the piece that's needed most is a reclining chair with a footrest. So NICU applications. We drew inspiration from nature by implementing curves where we could. We'd be bringing in a wood-looking material to bring in some warmth to the space on this piece. We will also be implementing calming colors inspired by nature. So greens, blues to create a more calming space. So human-centered design applications. So we've implemented anthropometric design in the angle and design of the seat. And we've also made sure that the chair is wide enough for many different body types. Also regarding human-centered design, these little squares up here are actually buttons to adjust the chair into multiple different reclining positions. And then another function of the chair is some of the concerns that the nurses had were what they were looking for in pieces were multifunctional pieces, a piece that would be easily cleaned, a chair that can convert into a bed, and space to tuck wires, tubing, or cables, as that is a concern that visitors and nurses have. They don't want to trip over wires or cables when they're addressing the needs of the mother. So these cables can tuck easily into this little pocket right here. And then on the back of the chair on the same side, there is a little tab that would flip open to reveal a stand where an IV could be placed. This is just a little pocket for stashing stuff like a remote or whatever the mother might need. And this is a mobile chair, kind of drawing inspiration from the world. One of the newest pieces in a NICU facility has been these mobile battery powered chairs. And then regarding a deep analysis of what we have done to do a deep analysis is on top of research, we have conducted a pilot survey of 15 respondents, just to kind of reinforce the research we had found. So future applications. While we have some sketches of possible designs, we'll continue to develop these ideas. This pilot survey that was conducted and the research that has been done could be a base for a master's study. An expanded pilot survey could certainly be something that would be useful for master's studies. And I think it's also important to just kind of address that the Eames design philosophy could be applied to many different spaces. But I think it would be specifically interesting to apply to a whole room within a NICU or even to whole other medical facilities. So just a special thank you to Dr. Presswood for dealing with all of my questions and having so much patience with me. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have been able to do this thesis. And if you have any questions, you can contact me or Dr. Presswood. Here are our emails, and thank you so much for your time.